and welcome to SpotLight, the podcast that lifts the curtain on life here at the Grand Theatre, Wolverhampton. I am Tonia Daly-Campbell.
And I am Scott. And unfortunate, the story of Ursula the Sea Witch squirts onto our stage in Wolverhampton this July. And we're delighted to be joined by two of the cast today. We've got Lowe and Shawna Hamic.
Woo! Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be interviewing you two today. This is just fantastic.
Yes, and we're under the sea for it. We've joined you down here in the depths of Ursula's lair.
We're actually really on the set.
Yeah.
We're on the set. This is amazing.
Yeah, look at this set. It's really, really cool. And it's cool to be joined by you two as well. And we're going to get talking about the show itself in a moment. But let's just talk a little bit about you two first. Because, Shawna, this is your first time performing in the UK, right?
It is. I've always wanted a reason to come and perform in the UK. And I've traveled here many, many times to come for theatre, like to London a lot. So it's the first time, though, I've gotten to see most anything outside of London. So this has been a lovely excuse and adventure. And I've been having just the best time visiting all the different cities around the UK and sharing it with family when they've come over and friends.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah, I'm having the best time.
And what is UK theatre like for you? Because of course you're no stranger to theatre in the US and Broadway credits, and then you've toured with like Les Mis, Kinky Boots, loads of great shows. But what are the audiences like over here compared to in the US?
Well, the audiences are lovely. They're very fun. Some of them are very quiet, but turns out they like us at the end, which is always harder to deal with. But I was like, oh, is this a UK thing? Is this a London thing? What is going on? Be louder.
You will have loud at the Grand.
I'm very excited about that. No, in general, the audiences have been across the board really, really wonderful. I've noticed the things that are different in the UK compared to in the United States is you actually spend a lot more time together as a company. Like require dedicated time, like the warm-ups for body and physical and vocal warm-ups are actually required here in the UK. In the US, you only have to be at the theater about a half an hour beforehand. I'm not. I'm always early, but it's not something you do together in the US. You're sort of responsible for it on your own. They expect you to do it, but here it's a sort of a team building thing, which I actually really like. And I actually do when I'm here, because in the US I'm like, I'll use this show to warm up. That is unprofessional. Don't do that.
Unprofessional. Don't do that.
Do it like here in the UK, where you're professional and you warm up together and, have a good voice.
I love that. I love that. So how about you, Thomas? How?
Let's go with Tom.
Tom, okay. Because we're friends now at the end of the day. Yeah. This is what it's like on the podcast. We've just become friends. So, tell us a little bit about your journey into theatre, because that's quite an interesting one as well, isn't it?
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, I played the Angel Gabriel when I was 4 in the school nativity play at the local church.
I love that intro. I love that intro. We all have that intro. Oh, my heart. Very different to what you're doing now, but we'll get there. We'll get there in a moment. But carry on.
Well, it became apparent that I could sing quite well, and I just loved being on stage, and did school theatre, and then went professional with it around age 20 in London for 3 years, and then just kept doing it. Yeah, kept doing
Amazing.
it. Kept getting called back for auditions that involved singing. So just whenever I didn't sing, they weren't interested.
So I mean that singing life, Tom, that led you to another aspect of your career that I think you should share with us. Don't you think?
Oh, yes. So the last time I was on this stage was in 1997 as a member of the hit UK boy band North and South.
North and South. My, come on.
It was the children's BBC Christmas pantomime, and I was 18.
You was 18?
You were a baby.
You were,
It's a long time ago.
Gosh, well, you look good, though. You look good. You look really.
Yes. I went out till 4 a.m. last night, so this is me on about 5 hours sleep.
I love it.
That,
and then gone on to a career in musical theatre too, and obviously you both share not different productions of it, but Les Mis is a joint credit that you both share.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
So who do we have here from Les Mis? We have a Madame Thénardier.
I was a Madame Thénardier for 3 years, for
Yeah.
1,037 performances.
Wow.
Gosh, wow.
In the US.
In the US, yeah. And of course you did it in the West End and at the Hollywood Bowl, I believe.
Yes, I was Marius on the West End for about 650 performances, not as many as this one.
Sorry, I'm just remembering the show.
And then Enjolras at the Hollywood Bowl for a couple of weekends.
Wow, how was that?
It was cool. I got to die finally in the show, which was fun because Marius doesn't die.
Yeah.
That's true. You almost go into Les Mis expecting to...
Yeah.
Everyone died.
Yeah.
You come on at the bows at the end, and the characters who die get this roaring applause, and then Marius and Cosette are like, we didn't die, we don't feel
Yeah, we don't like it.
But yeah, Enjolras, you know, he's the apex of the one day
Yeah.
more marching
So you're
Act 1 finale, and it's epic.
Oh.
It was so fun. Yeah.
amazing. What I want to know is, so what drew you to this production? What drew you to the role? And because I know there's a few people who haven't seen it. So yeah.
And this is slightly different from Les Mis.
Oh, very
Just slightly. A little. Just a titch.
little.
They actually, casting actually contacted my agents to see if I'd be interested in auditioning, and I was doing a Broadway tour at the time, 1776, and I was about to come home and be unemployed again, like you do a lot when you're an actor. The thing is I have always loved Ursula. Ursula has always been my favorite Disney villain. Always. You can ask my mother. Wow. Like, I think it was wonderful because she represented something I'd never gotten to see on stage, certainly in animated, which was a big girl like me. Yes. So I think I gravitated towards her in general because of that, but also who doesn't like a bad girl?
Yeah.
So I know I do. And then when I found out what the show was and that it was like Ursula, but then it was the story of Ursula, and I was like, well, yes, sign me up. Any and all. And then also the added bonus of getting to come to the UK like we talked about before. And so it sort of just happened from there, and I was like, yes, please. And that's how I got to be here. And so now I get to be touring your lovely country in this lovely role. And
oh my goodness, it's so fantastic. And to see, and we'll come on to your, what drew you as well, but to see you on stage, and one of the things that really came across was that body positivity that made me feel good. Like, I'm just like, yes. I think you had like a really, really great line, and you can help me with it. Something about Mary Poppins. So
one of the eels, the damned eels of my garden, comment on the fact that Ursula is a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
And so because she becomes Vanessa and like the young, sexy, skinny version, she can become that at any moment, whenever she wants. She chooses instead to be the big girl octopus and exist every day in her power and her life and her sexiness as the big girl. And it's actually a really large part of what drew me to this show is because of that very thing that you're talking about, is if Mary frickin' Poppins can say she's perfect, why the hell can't I?
Why the hell can't we?
Yeah, why can't we? And it's the whole point for me of this show of, you need to enjoy who you are because who you are is important and needed in the world. It doesn't matter what you look like or what you think your own failings are. It's what makes you unique and needed in the world. And it's powerful for me to get to say that every show. And I have lots of messages on Instagram of people who look like me or who don't look like me, who get to say, you reminded me that I'm perfect the way I am. I don't need to change to fit into some idealistic version of
Do you know what?
Of what the world thinks I should be. I can just, I'm great as I am, and I'm needed, and I'm powerful, and I love it. And so it really, really is the point of why I chose to do the show.
Shawna,
it was important to me, that message.
My goodness. As you was doing that, I was thinking, this is, but then I was kind of getting emotional thinking, didn't realize I was going to be segueing my world into that emotion. But that I think, the way you've put it right here, right now, is just, it's so powerful. And also what probably has made the show so successful, the journey. We'll come on to that journey in a moment, but I'd love to hear from you, Tom, about, what drew you, and also just to talk about that lovely relationship that you two have on stage, but also off. You know, it's wonderful to see.
Yeah, so I got this fantastic job working at sea, and I was only going to work at sea for a year or two.
What,
but
the
it was
real sea?
the actual sea, yeah.
Like, it's
On the sea.
on the sea. I'm like, you, so you really, okay, carry on.
singing on cruise ships.
Yeah, I know, but I love it. I love it.
And I ended up working at sea for 10 years because it just ended up being a really great opportunity. And then after 10 years, I thought, okay, it might be time to try and work on land again. And I'd been in America for over 20 years, and I thought, why not give London a shot again, because my family's all still in Manchester. And so I found an agent, and this was one of the first auditions I did. And I was really drawn by the script, and I was given a little monologue and a section of a song, and I just thought, oh, this is different. This is funny and campy and full of irony and just a bit daft.
Yeah.
You know? And I think I could really enjoy acting in this type of comedy. So I really gave it my best shot. You know, I tried to do the best on-camera self-tape thing, and then did a Zoom audition from Anglesey on a cruise ship.
Oh, gosh.
In my cabin.
These
that
are
was my
such-
second audition.
Which is so appropriate.
It's so appropriate, and these are really great moments of information and little sound bites, because there's going to be listeners and people who watch who they're on their journey, and they see you, they'll see you on stage, and they will be like, how did they? But to hear that. You know, you're auditioning. You know, you're doing that from the cabin. You know, this is our reality as performers. So that was wonderful. Carry on. That's
so
wonderful.
then I think it was July 26th, where it was the very last day they were doing in-person auditions, and it happened to be the day that I was getting off this particular ship in Dover. So I hopped on the cruise shuttle, took her to Gatwick, took a train to Elephant and Castle, did the audition, and then had to go to Manchester that same day and just kind of banged it out. And,
wow.
And they said, would you be available tomorrow to come back for a final audition? I said, sure. And then they called me while I was still in London. They said, actually, you could come back now at 6 p.m. if you want. So I managed to do 2 more auditions in London.
Gosh.
And, soon after that, I found out that I'd got it.
Oh, where were you both? Where were you both when you had the actual news? Where were you?
I was in my apartment in New York City.
Oh, in New York City.
Yeah, that's where I live.
I like that. I've been to New York a couple of times. I love it.
It's great.
I love it.
It was always my dream to live there. So
it's
I
on
do now.
my dream to go there at least. Oh, amazing.
I've lived there over 20 years now, so it means I'm officially a New Yorker now.
Oh, I've got a friend in New York.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to say
Shawna.
party at Shawna's.
Come on over.
Excuse me.
I have actually a living room that can have a guest. It's weird.
I love that. Where were you?
Oh, I was actually back in Wales again on a family camping holiday in the north of Wales. Yeah.
I just love it. I absolutely love it. That is just it's just so empowering, like I said, for just people to hear these stories, you know, because like I said, you know, people will see you up there and go, how? Amazing. So just before we go into the next, could you just tell us a little bit about your
relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it's just wonderful to see on stage. It's perfection. It's brilliant.
Well, I think it helps that we are really close off stage too. You know, we get on really well. I mean, from the very outset, Shawna has just been so warm and lovely, and she's just so easy to work with, and she presents such a masterclass on stage, you know, like the nuance of her acting skills and her powerhouse vocals. And so, you know, I sort of watch her and it's like she brings this naturalistic, almost screen acting she makes it work on stage, you know, and so I learn a lot watching her, and I'm fairly new to book musicals.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time I've done a professional book comedy musical. Wow. So I was a little bit nervous if I could pull it off, you know, all the dialogue and the scene work. And I felt really safe and supported with both Shawna and our director, Robin. And and so it's just, I think just the general climate and the atmosphere of rehearsals as well from everyone. It was instilled in the rehearsal process right from the beginning that we have this supportive environment, and that's allowed me to just relax and say yes to suggestions and just kind of be brave and go for it.
Amazing.
And trust that when she tells me I'm doing a good job, that I am doing a good job, you know. Because there's a lot of insecurity, you know, of course, I think with every actor. So you go through that, and then, it's wonderful to get the type of reactions that we've been having.
Well, and we were part of that reaction last
we
night,
were part of
weren't
that
we? Because we
reaction.
got to see it last night, and like you say, on the surface, like what you've just talked about, on the surface, this is quite a loud, brash, crude, funny show.
Filthy.
Yeah. But then of course,
Not for your children.
but then of course, it has got that heart that we talked about, and that love and that acceptance and everything. But then I guess sort of like, I mean, of course, this is probably bringing fans of the Disney film or fans that would know The Little Mermaid. But then I guess sort of what Wicked does to the Wicked Witch sort of tips it on its head, and you don't necessarily have to know the story, but if you do, there's all these like parallels that you can draw in some of the jokes, some of the music, some of the looks. So let's talk about the show itself now.
The show itself. Well, before we move on, I just have to say,
go on.
I want to have a rebuttal.
Yeah.
I want to have a rebuttal of working with that guy. He is so lovely, and he is so brave and willing to just go for things. You know, he talks about how it's new to him to do a book musical, but he just jumped in. He just was like, "What do you need me to do?" And he was open for anything they suggested, and was just willing to try things and make himself a fool if he wanted to be, and if they wanted him to just be brave enough to be an idiot on stage in the best way. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're stupid. That's not what I mean at all. Like, you have to be fearless, and if you are afraid, you have to do it anyway. You know what I mean? And especially in comedy, because some of it can seem outlandish and not what you should do to get a laugh. But Tom is always so willing to just be open and to try things, and generous in his persona of being a human. Like, it's not a persona. He's just a generous human and a lovely man. And I made him my show Valentine.
Yeah.
I gave him a Valentine for Valentine's Day. He's taken, but he can be my show Valentine. But it's just so lovely to be able to work with somebody that you trust implicitly and know that we have each other, which is a big deal. You know what I mean? As a big girl, it's not normal that I would get the love story or that I would have the romance. And so it's another reason why I was excited to take this show. But then I get to do it with that one. Look at him. I mean, you can't look at him here on the podcast, but go to the film version of it and you can see him. Look at him. Because you should just automatically go to the video version of this podcast, because it's very interesting. We're very pretty people. But to get to play with him is a very, very fun thing. But yes, let's talk about the show. But I wanted a chance to say how incredible Tom is.
That is
We
important.
laugh a lot, don't we? We have a lot of fun. And
there's a moment on stage where we just talk to each other on the stage when they're doing other things besides us and our mics aren't on, and we try to make each other laugh, and we talk about dirty things and then funny things and the stupid things.
Different conversation
every time. I think Pythagorean came in.
We talked about trigonometry.
What did you talk about yesterday?
Oh no, we're not going to talk about
Okay, all right. Yeah, let's keep that for this. Let's take that to the street.
Just imagine what you could think of what we're saying.
Okay.
We probably are.
It's the day after we've consummated our relationship, so we have a discussion about what that was like. And imagining what that would be like with an octopus and a man with fins and scales and merman. Yeah.
We're very creative.
Very well. The show is
the show is
so that's a good segue into the show.
Because what we're sat on now is Ursula's lair, but also a ship, and it sort of transforms into various locations, I guess.
Yes, Abby Clark's award-nominated.
Award-winning, wasn't it?
Wow.
Didn't she win? I don't know. We're bad humans. You can
at least you know
certainly
it's award nominated,
yes, for sure.
and possibly winning.
Exactly.
And you know, we can.
Costume.
You that'll be your homework. You can go and research.
Research. Do your part. Do your own research.
So about the show.
So the set is great. The costumes. Let's just talk about your costumes.
Yes.
Both of the costumes are a talking point here. So how does how does it work? How does it feel? Like,
So I'm an octopus, and I have tentacles. I learned that octopi, they have 6 legs and 2 arms. I think that's correct. It might be. I don't know.
So
I should
just
cut
still
that
2
out 'cause
arms.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But like, there's 8 tentacles.
yeah.
Believe you.
Yeah, I think that's right. I could just be lying, and they would know. Again, do your research. So I have an amazing outfit, which makes me an octopus, of course, and it's like different textured leathers and pleathers, and so it's not just one fabric. It's actually 3 different fabrics that make up, and it sort of comes on. The top of it comes on over like a coat, and it fastens over my corset and my leather leggings and my very high, tall leather boots. And so we wanted it to, well, Abby Clark, who will design not only the costumes and the set, so she did both, wanted to feel sort of like punk rock, and so it's an amazing like purple hairdo, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that wig is
and the
great.
purple lip. The wig is so
great.
great. Tommy Kurtzman wigs from New York City. He built that. He built a
Wow.
lot of Broadway wigs. He built it for me. So
Yeah, and it does transform the look of, for you as actors, like the wigs and the costumes. It's just, they're incredible. Yeah.
yeah.
But also, we do have some guests with us, some other guests. Yeah,
Just behind
behind
us.
us.
Can I-
Could you reach for
Guest
them?
here.
Because we have puppetry
So these
in
are the
show.
mini versions of you, right?
They are Mini Triton and Mini Ursula, and
should we-
I've realized I have the same hairdo as my mini version today.
Yeah.
We have little buns on our head.
Oh my goodness! So talk to us a little bit about the puppetry. Did you have to do a lot of training, or how did you?
I didn't. I'm Ursula. I'm on the poster. I didn't have to do any puppet training.
I love that.
But it's interwoven throughout the show, this puppetry. I mean, we've got 2 of them here, but we've also got fish, we've got everything going on. So, yeah.
I think puppetry is such a fun way of bringing in more characters than we have people on stage for. Obviously, they're being puppeteered. Baby Ursula is puppeteered by Dexter, who is Ariel as well, River Medway, and they get to perform Baby Ursula, and then Julian is
Where's?
Oh, it's here. It's at the back.
Oh, it's
isn't
in
it?
the
it's
back.
at the back.
Okay.
for the
Yeah.
mouth.
There's no rhyme on this one.
They
but-
use their own arms and hands to control Tritons, baby Tritons.
Because let's just take a moment to talk about this ensemble that we've got in this show. I mean, they are never off stage. Multi-rolling, multi-skilled, doing so much from puppetry to taking... I mean, that scene in the second half where we've got the pots and pans and that is great. And the multi-rolling there.
Ali
that's
playing
going on.
both.
Ali.
Both Colette the chef and Sebastian the crab at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who does that?
That's insane.
Yeah.
She's absolutely outstanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that we're going to have to wrap up soon, so I'm just thinking, there's something that we would love for you to do for us.
Yes.
We have a bit of a tradition. We've only just started this podcast, but we have a bit of a tradition where we ask our guests to come up with a jingle for the podcast. So anything, literally, you don't have to think about it too much. It's literally anything you can think of. You've got Grand Theatre, Spotlight, and podcast. That's all you need to feature.
Yeah.
That's all you need to
'Cause we
feature.
have
So
it-
Tom writes musicals, so he would
Here we
be
go.
a good person for this pressure.
Yeah, but we can
Throwing it onto
any
you.
tune.
It can be in the style of Unfortunate if you want, yeah.
I love that. It can be in the style, but maybe not some of the words that you want.
I know. I was like, ooh.
Ooh. But yeah, so we're just thinking, because we thought, since it's a musical, you will be great.
I should have done homework.
No,
I
but you
didn't
don't have to do
know.
homework, because the idea is it's just on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't want you to think
Yeah.
about it too much. And that's the fun about it.
What
And
if
we've
we
had some
just
crazy
sang
stuff. Okay.
Grand Theatre Spotlight Podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did it in a,
Well, let's
like
do
in
it
a
again. Let's do it
harmony.
again. Let's do it
In a
again. Okay.
harmony.
But I don't know what melody you just sang. Let's
You
go.
know that
Go
melody.
for it.
Grand Theatre Spotlight Podcast.
Grand Theatre Spotlight Podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll do a harmony too.
Go,
I'll
yeah,
try
go.
anyway.
I can do.
Go for it. Go for it.
I'll
That
try
is
and do a harmony
amazing.
to that.
I don't know what I
amazing.
just did, but it's okay.
Grand Theatre Spotlight Podcast.
Ooh, do it together. Do it together.
Okay, go. Grand Theatre Spotlight Podcast.
Yes!
I'm so
Nearly.
Can we learn that?
Mostly.
It's a little
Can you
early.
help
It's a
us?
little
Can we get involved?
early.
Can we do it?
Feel free. And now over to you.
Come on
No,
then.
we want to do it with you.
Grand Theatre
Spotlight
Podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel good. I feel good.
There you
I
go.
love that
Have
one.
you cast me? Am I in?
Yes, you're in.
100%,
You're in the
yeah.
show.
Yeah, Ursula and Triton
Ursula
understudies.
trying to
Yeah.
understudy. Ooh.
Platinum record coming
Platinum
soon.
records.
Actually, we're going to have a cast album that's coming out soon, so be on the
Ooh.
lookout for that.
Yes.
I did get to promote something.
This has been. I think we should say bye
Yes,
to
we'll say
our
goodbye
wonderful
to these.
our wonderful puppets. They're amazing. Bye bye.
Have a little rest under the sea.
Up there.
Yeah.
Under the sea. Oh,
Grand
thank you.
Theatre Spotlight Podcast.
Oh, amazing, amazing! Your puppetry skills are on point.
On point.
Add that to the CV.
Add it.
Oh.
But yeah, we just want to say thank you so much for giving up your time. We know how much time is precious when you're on the road, when you're working in theatre, because it's a lot of hard work. So we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts,
We do.
for joining us and spending time with us and just
Pleasure.
sharing with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
This is
We
a great
can't wait
time.
to see you when, of course, you do come to Wolverhampton from the 11th to the 14th of July. So, yeah, we look forward
That's
to
a
seeing
good
you
one.
there.
Yeah.
So thank you, and thank you everyone at home for listening and watching along too. We'll see you in the next one.
See you. Bye.